Good day. In the past few weeks, I've discussed why you need your fax numbers and statistics and how to store it and those type of things and all the general things about your data. But the question is, how do you get started? What if you don't have it? What's the first step that you need to take to get started on this? Well, the first thing that you're going to need is data. So you need to start recording stuff. Whatever it is you want to measure, you need to start recording it. You need to start putting it down in a way that you can later on use it. Well, obviously the best way to do this is to have the whole process automated so that you don't have to capture it. For me personally, I never do any financial transaction unless it is with my card or through my bank transfers. I don't work with cash. The reason is cash doesn't keep an audit trail. Cash doesn't keep a record of what it does. I need to physically take record of what I did with the cash and go capture it onto a system somewhere. When it comes to bank transactions, it's very easy. The bank does all the capturing for me. So I just take my bank statement and voila, I've got all my information that I need regarding my financial statements. I do all my financial statements, all my financial transactions directly from my bank statements, not needing to capture one single slip because everything is automated. But what if you can't automate it? What if you physically have to capture it? Well, in that case, you have to make it part of your normal daily process. You can't have an additional process for capturing. It must be part of the process. As an example, say for instance, I need to record every single phone call I make. Well, my phone records the duration and everything, but it doesn't really give me what it's about and everything like that. I need to write that down or capture it somewhere. So part of my process would then basically be, before I make the phone call, I record the telephone number, who I'm phoning, what I'm phoning them for, what do I need to know. So I prepare myself for the data that's required. Then I make my phone call, make some scribbling notes next to me as I'm making the phone call, and after the call, I quickly capture the information. So the transaction of making the phone call is not the 5-minute phone call I'm making, it's the 10-minute process. So first of all, preparing for it, then making the 5-minute phone call, and then after capturing the results. So it's part of my normal process. So it's not something I have to do extra, or at the end of the day, try and remember all the phone calls I made and try to remember what happened. It's part of the call, so I factor it in. So data capturing is really part of the process of doing your business. So the idea is to get all the data that you can. Now, how much data should I record is the big question. Everything that you can record. Rather record too much, because later on you can ignore certain data if it's too much, but you can't add data if it's not there. It's very difficult to add information or data that's missing through some sort of inference. It's much better to have too much data and not use it all. Obviously, it shouldn't distract of your normal business processes so that you're so busy capturing data that you're not actually getting to making any money. But the idea is to get as much data as possible. So in the future, when you want to start measuring it, you've got the data available. So, the last thing that you need to remember when you capture data is to put in some checks and balances. We all make mistakes. Well, the bank doesn't necessarily, but when I write stuff down, I make mistakes. So, when I record something, I need to put in some checks and balances. Record more than one version of the information. Typically, if I drive somewhere, I record the kilometers or the mileage I've just done, but I also record the odometer reading of my car. In that way, I can verify that the data is correct. So if I've got an error on the one side, I use the other one to verify it, to make the data auto-correcting. So for the next week, go and start recording your data. Without data, you don't have any facts, numbers, or statistics. So start recording your data.